Hey Spencer, great to be here and chatting with you once again about another website. Yeah, how's everything
Always,
going on your end?
always good to be here, John. Things are going well. Business is good. Family's happy, so can't complain.
So yeah, for everyone joining, yeah, Spencer and I, along with Kelley, are partners at Motion Invest, and we have a pretty cool site that's come through, a recipe site that Spencer and I were just going to talk about. It's a little bit unique in some ways, and so Spencer and I were just going to kind of have a chat about what we like about it, some opportunities with the site, and yeah, go from there. If anyone has any questions, then please let Spencer or I know, or but in particular, contact Kelley at Motion Invest if there's any questions.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, Spencer, I guess before we get into it, do you want to kind of give a bit of the backstory that you've had with the seller and this site in particular, and kind of cool story?
Yeah, so this really is a unique listing in that I know the seller. And not only know the seller, but I've done a transaction with the seller. I actually bought a site previously from the seller. And so I know her really, really well. The transaction that I did, bought a site about 3 years ago. It went well. And the seller, I don't know if we're allowed to say her name, but anyways, the seller has been very, helpful along the way and everything like that. And so she's a great person and she does a great job. And so the also the backstory maybe of just why she's looking to sell, if that's okay, maybe I'll just share that. Just some things have come up, like this particular niche she feels very strongly about. It's a food and recipe site, and she sees tons of growth opportunity. We do too. Obviously there's tons of food and recipes that you could be covering, for the rest of your life if you wanted. But some things have come up, and she actually needs to take a step back from putting time into this site so that she can focus on taking care of her family's business. And so she's putting a lot of time into that family business. There's just been some things that happened in her personal life, and so she needs to take a step back and do that, which is why she's selling this site. She just doesn't have the time to put into it at this point. And so that's kind of the backstory. I'll maybe add some other tidbits here, but I know the seller. I kind of know why she's selling it. It all makes sense and checks out. And this is a really interesting niche and an interesting site.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, it's an interesting story, and interesting as well in terms of how that site has worked out for you and sort of the lift that has been achieved in the earnings. I think similar opportunities exist with this site in terms of that playbook that you deployed. So yeah, very interesting listing. Some of the details around the listing, some of just the base details. Current listing price is $720,000. The profit per month is around 20,000, and visitors is around 463,000 per month. What's interesting is the graph below. So every year it's grown, and then what's unique with this listing and why we only showing 2019 2020 is the lift that's about to happen in the end of November and through December. Always sort of doubles and then quadruples the traffic. So pretty or triples, I guess, the standard traffic. So yeah, pretty exciting times for the site, and potentially a fun time of year to get your hands on a site that's about to experience that kind of seasonal growth at the right window of the trailing 12 months.
Right. And so, that's exactly right. I just wanted to point out, yeah, there's that fourth quarter sort of lift, and here we are kind of right in the midst of that. It always does really well in November and December, for whatever reason, right? People are just looking for food a lot. Thanksgiving, Christmas, spending time with family. So it is. It's a good time of year to do that. I'll let people look at the listing. I was going to quickly just fact check you. I think that the traffic is a little lower this year when compared to 2020. I think, having talked with the seller, she had some things go really viral in 2020, some pins. and she didn't have the same virality this year. So I believe the total traffic is a little bit down this year, but because of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks. Good point. And yeah, it is something that's different about this site than some of the other sites that are listed in Motion Invest, is around the traffic sources, and so we'll touch on that a bit. Yeah, so some of the highlights are on the site. Tons of articles, 500 quality articles on the site, and a pretty shocking amount of keywords that it's ranking for, with almost 41,000 keywords. Some with some good buyer intent, but no monetization around anything other than media buying. And then solid diversity in the traffic. Of the top 10 pages, no one page is more than 10%. And then the social versus organic split of sort of 57 social, 28 organic. I guess Spencer might be interested to talk about sort of how you took a site that was similar to this, that had some social and organic, and then really sort of leveraged your experience with affiliate earnings to really sort of increase the earnings per visitor.
Right. Yeah. So just to highlight again what you already said, this site only makes money from media buying. That's it. Display ads. There's no other earnings source. And so there definitely is an opportunity there potentially for some affiliate earnings. And then the biggest source of traffic, I believe, is Pinterest overall. Yeah, it's Pinterest for sure. But like 50% is social, then 28% organic. So it gets a lot of organic visitors still. Does well in Google, but she just crushes it on Pinterest, with some of the pins. People love their food on Pinterest. And so I bought from this seller a similar site in that it did really well on Pinterest and kind of so-so in organic, meaning, the split was about that. And what our playbook was to go, okay, let's start targeting new keywords. We've got a site that has a lot of authority. Google likes it. Let's start targeting keywords that can rank in Google, that are targeting more affiliate buyer intent. And so we quickly ramped up like the affiliate revenue when we bought this previous site was making like $600 a month in Amazon Associates to, now where it's closer to like $7,000-8,000 a month. Right. And so we kind of, with that playbook, and the organic traffic is, increased tremendously because we're just focusing on that. I will confess that I'm not as good at Pinterest as the previous owner. Right. So even though the Pinterest traffic has come down, the organic traffic went up and the affiliate revenue went way up. And so somebody could potentially apply a similar strategy here in trying to either target, more organic keywords with new content, or there may be a lot of opportunity to just add some affiliate links in the existing content. It's just not even being tried right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at, we've got the pages read it out here, but if any of these have opportunities for products in them, that's a lot of eyeballs on those pages to potentially be sort of earning from whatever the affiliate program is. Not necessarily only Amazon. There'd be other potential opportunities around recipe boxes, etc.
Right. Exactly. Even adding, something in the sidebar or in the content, right? Even if it's just like a simple Amazon banner or something, right? Could do something.
I think the challenge with this site is like we're often limited in our abilities based on what are we particularly good at, and this is a seller who was very good at Pinterest, very good at content, and that's what they focused on. Threw on the ads to make sure that they made money, but they focused almost exclusively on those two things to build this thing into a sizable, really sizable site and revenue generator. What will be the challenge is to be able to sort of take on the site, not lose what's being done really well, social and the content, and then add in the other opportunities. I think it's a great site for sort of a potential more portfolio focused individual where they have some skill sets on the team across different aspects. Yeah, I guess when you think about from a general standpoint on like who do you see being able to take this site and really grow it? What skill sets do you think that they or their organization would need?
Yeah, you kind of touched on it. Either they personally need to be very active on social to maintain that sort of Pinterest traffic, if you will, and have a skill set there, or have a team, right, that is dedicated and trained in doing that. I think that just from my own experience, and the seller, I think, shares some of that on the listing page, that that's required. You Pinterest is they change a lot, just like Google changes a lot. You need to be on top of it. You can't just expect that it's always going to be there, right? So you need to either be updating pins or doing new pins, new content. So you need to have a team that's doing that, and then a team that is either updating content to help it maybe rank better in Google, or adding new content, right? You got to have somebody that's probably really good at either taking images, or a team that's good at sourcing images, right? There's lots of stock photos, to be honest, that you can do with content and things like that. So you need to have a team that can do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else that you want to touch on this slide?
No, nothing on this slide, I don't think.
Yeah, so I think we touched on this already, and we'll probably
Yeah,
do
we
this
got
a bunch,
excited.
but like talk around a few different pieces of this. But yeah, I think huge opportunity for like both the short-term wins around identifying the pages that have the buyer intent and putting in Amazon Associate or similar affiliate links, and then over time expanding that content strategy to include related, take your topical authority that this site has clearly built up, and take that and apply it to related products.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the site is mostly recipes and food, has authority there, but I mean, really closely tied to that is these, kitchen appliances, anything used to tools to use to cook food, lots of affiliate opportunities for, sort of gadgets and gizmos and whatever, that can be expanded upon.
Yeah, and I think I'm seeing some of the posts. There's lots of times where Mixer gets mentioned, and then the ability to have interlinks on your site go from all those posts that mention Mixer to your Mixer review post.
Yeah.
Great application for Link Whisper.
Of course.
Not that that's what we were chatting about, but this is exactly the use case for a tool like that, where you have hundreds of sites, and then you can sort of put in your money pages now, and then use all that authority that's been built up on the site and focus it in on some specific sub pages, and do that efficiently with a tool like Link Whisper. I think could be a nice win.
Absolutely. And the site's it was like 500 articles, I think.
Yeah.
So there's lots of content. Yeah. And, that can be linked from a lot of opportunities to kind of optimize in that regard. And I think we're going to talk about here in a second, the external links pointing to the site. I don't know if that's next or not, but there's definitely some good links pointing to the site.
Yeah, no, not yet, but yeah. So sometimes the question comes up with some of our sites around, like, if there's a media buying account, there'll be some smaller media buying sites. So like in that person's account, somebody might have met the threshold to be on media buying with the sessions per month, but then also have some smaller sites because they've been grandfathered in, and then selling out of that always is a question. Usually Ezoic is a great opportunity to go to another option that isn't AdSense and can still achieve a similar result. But in this case, it clears the threshold for media buying easily, and has sort of the traffic numbers that would make chatting with media buying, chatting with AdThrive, chatting with Ezoic to see what your options are could become pretty interesting in terms of potentially another lift just in negotiating with those networks.
Yep, you wouldn't have any problem getting on pretty much any ad network you wanted with a site with this much traffic.
Yeah, totally. Heading into peak season. Yes, Spencer, I mean, you're the American expert on the call, but heading into peak season there for food in the US for sure, and that drives recipe sites significantly. Someone's got to make all that food.
I mean, in Canada, do you still just eat a lot of food that day? Just, sympathy eat or something?
We space ours out, and then yes, double down on eating on American Thanksgiving as well. So yeah,
okay. All right. Well, good.
There'll probably be pumpkin pie eaten on
Okay,
American
good.
Thanksgiving in Canada as well.
We wouldn't want just the Americans to be gluttonous. We hope our neighbors to the north would do so as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So good. So there's lots of food being eaten in the next couple of months. And because of that, I mean, look at that, 35,000 in revenue last November, and then last December, 56,000. That's crazy. That's huge. And so again, some of that is, I mean, it's the peak season, so you're going to get some of that. I don't know. Again, there might have been a couple of pins that went just crazy viral, and that helps as well. And that may happen again. You can't always predict which of your pins are going to get picked up once again and just go nuts. But certainly the opportunity and the peak season is here.
Awesome. And then backlinks. So some great backlinks. Just some pages. I mean, just a sign of the quality of the content that is on the site to get these kind of links.
New York Times, telegraph.co.uk, sfgate, countryliving.com. I mean, huge sites, huge links.
And I think this, like we've chatted about, right? The seller has like deep skill set in a couple areas. Link building is not one of those areas. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding.
No, she's a content producer, right? Creates the great pictures of food and recipes and the pins. And I don't believe, don't quote me on this, but I don't think she's really done any link building. It's just she shares a lot on social, and that tends to get picked up from other places.
And I mean, for even there's not a lot that somebody could do on link building, on the link building side of things, that can achieve these kind of links. Like these links get achieved. Sometimes these are the most valuable because they're the hardest to get, because really the only way to get them is organically.
Exactly.
Even the paid versions of these kind of links end up being no follow-up. These are some really, really solid links.
Yep. So somebody's got a great base, an authoritative site. You can grow the site the way it is, or you can use that authority with new content and some of the strategies we talked about.
Awesome. So just Motion Invest likes to do this, especially with some of the larger sites, include some free content. So some free content's being provided by Content Refined for 1 year, really focusing in on those kind of buyer intent opportunity keywords. That's what Content Refined does well at, is the strategy and the execution on buyer intent keywords. And so that'll be included and covered by Motion Invest with this site.
There you go. A nice little perk.
And so if you have any questions, we didn't reveal URLs, that limited some of the deep diving that we could have done on this, but go to motioninvest.com and have a look at the listing. Contact Kelley at motioninvest.com. And Spencer, I'll kind of put you on the spot, but if you took over this site and you were the one in charge, I mean, what would be your sort of 1 month, 3 month plan? What would be your sort of plan of action to grow this site quickly?
Well, first, I would try to find somebody really good at Pinterest and creating pins, because I'm not good at that, and make sure that person's in place to try and maintain and grow what's happening on Pinterest. And then, I mean, we've already alluded to it. My plan of action would absolutely be to find some affiliate related content ideas, new content ideas, and start getting those ranking in Google, right? I would invest in content probably relatively quickly. As ambitious as somebody wants to get, they can, sky's the limit, right? But start getting some of that content so it can start to age a little bit in Google, and hopefully in a few months you start seeing that rank, get that additional affiliate commissions, and sort of, I guess, even out if possible, right? The share of traffic coming from Google versus social. So that'd kind of be my plan of action. And then the seller in her seller interview said that she would also spend a lot of time updating content and re-optimizing some of that content for Google, some of her old recipes and things like that. And so I'd do that. That'd be kind of top of my list as well. So.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it sounds great, and to fully agree. I mean, when I look at this site, it's like, like you said, sky's the limit on the opportunity side. Got to figure out how to take care of the things that are driving those results right now. How do you make sure Pinterest is covered? How do you make sure that you're able to keep producing this quality of content, and then layering on some opportunities on top of those two? But being cautious about buying it unless you can take care of those two core that have driven these results,
right?
Which isn't like hard, right? Hard to do. I think of these things often as like, they're not hard to do once, they're hard to do well consistently over and over and over, and that's I think often where kind of site owners struggle, is the consistency of the quality of execution that's required. And I think this one will be no difference, where you need to take care of the Pinterest and the content at a really high standard, really consistently.
Yeah. And what's funny as well, just depending on the potential buyer, somebody might come in that's, had a food blog before or whatever. It might be super easy. Like for a lot of people, and again, I'm not that person. A lot of people love being on Pinterest, and it's second nature to just like, oh yeah, I'm going to whip up this pin and I saw a great recipe and I'm going to take a picture of it. And some people love that, right? And it's super second nature. This would be a great site. Other people see the opportunity, like probably you and I, to focus more on the SEO and the affiliate opportunity there. And that also could be a great person to come in and buy this, as long as they, take care of that other role. Either hire that out or make sure they got a process in place to make sure that happens. So
yeah, totally. I think both of us are like, look through this with a similar lens, and so what's hard to you is what's also hard to me, and vice versa, and don't have the same. And somebody else might be seeing this being like, you guys are crazy. That's the easy part.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's very possible. I'll be the first to admit I am not the best at certain things.
Yeah.
So that is just fine.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So Spencer, appreciate your time. And if anyone has any questions, contact Kelley at motioninvest.com. Check out motioninvest.com for the listing and other listings. Not this size, but a bunch of other smaller listings are always there. Appreciate your time for watching this video, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.